So the year is 2018. Bitcoin is currently worth $6,300. And Fuji decided to cancel another film. So the cancellation of Fujifilm Acros got me a bit like, because I'd never had a chance to shoot it. But wait, there's hope. The year is 2019, November to be exact. And Fuji Acros II is on the shelves. So I decide, yes, it's time. Me, Garth, from Murphy's Film, we are going to shoot a roll of Acros we've bought to do a YouTube video on. The current date is Friday the 23rd of April 2021, and I finally shot that one roll that I bought back in 2019. And I thought we would have a look at the images that I've shot. So let's have a look. Just a little bit of info before we get started. All the images that you're seeing here were developed by myself. One of them does have a big thumbprint on, which you can see in the top left hand corner of your screen. And on a few of them, I'm not sure if there's a little bit of bromide drag or a slow shutter curtain from my Leica M6 that I shot this roll on. But this film was developed by myself in Ilford DDX, and it was scanned by a local film ad that I used to get all my film development done, well, all my colour work done, which is Film Dev over here in the UK, and they were nice enough to scan this for me on their Noritsu at a medium-sized scan. So a little bit of context about this roll of film. It was shot during one of my very few weeks off that I've actually had, and basically me and my fiance took a little trip on one of my days off to a local dam, and shot the majority of this film in some natural light, some natural, basically middle of the daytime light. Me, my fiance, and my little son Archie. If you guys have been following the channel, you know that's one of the reasons why I've been uploading a lot less, and that's because I've not really had the time with being a new father, etc. So, this first image, as I say, middle of the day, quite harsh sun, but there was a bit of cloud. And on this day, Faye was wearing a leather jacket and a pair of jeans, as you can see here. And if I press J on my keyboard, you can actually see that there's not a lot of the image that's actually blown out. And that's because Fuji Acros has a really, really nice smooth grain and has a really nice roll off between the highlights and the shadows. As you can see here, if we zoom in, there's a lot of detail on Faye's jacket here. Even in the darkest areas here, you've still got all that detail to play with. And once again, it's just absolutely really fine grain. And it's just a really nice picture of Faye looking out over this little, well, the top of the dam. Moving further down onto the bottom of the dam here, same again. This was as it was getting more cloudy during the day. And during this, you can see that the sky is pretty blown out, although Lightroom's telling me that it's not. It was basically all there was completely cloudy. But you've got a really nice mid-tone separation here between the wall of this train track up here and actually between the grass and the actual dam behind it. A little bit of dust there, that's my fault. So we're going to go through these quite quick because a lot of them are mostly like kind of snapshotty kind of pictures. But as I say, it's more about the film and how it actually looks rather than some of these images. This one, it was just a quick snapshot. Obviously, my street photography skills have declined with being indoors a lot more. But basically, this dog just decided to yeet itself into the river, or the little pond, I should say. And I just thought it was a funny shot. This one here is a little one of my son Archie, and obviously if I hold him up here, this was on a different day. As you can tell, the little fella's wearing a pair of dungarees which were blue, and Faye's wearing a black coat with a black pair of leggings and a pair of Ugg boots. So as you can see here, there's still a lot of detail in them dark areas, and the film's picked up a lot of detail within obviously his clothes. There's one bit where there is some harsh sun that has blown out, and it's here on his head. But even still, the transition between the actual highlight where it's blown out into the detail area of his face is just such a smooth contrast between the two that I don't think you'd have any issues blowing this up into a big print. Same again, Archie in the back garden with Faye. This particular one is slightly underexposed, but I'll get into some underexposed shots on this roll because there is a couple. This particular day we were out to book a significant event, just me and Faye, and it was before lockdown restrictions had eased over here in the UK. So it was a little bit weird to be out and as you can see, big empty corridor, which usually this is a booming row of shops with just one guy stood at the back here. I tried to level it out and get my horizon lines even, but it just did not work. Bit of, as I say, bit of a snapshot. But I also like how, because up here, that's basically glass that let light into this indoor shopping area. So you could kind of see the transition between the shadow here on the sides and how the light actually like blends into the highlight areas. It's just really nice. Back to that day out, Faye and Archie having a little walk. Once again, I think this was shot around f4, so nice and super sharp. Honestly, you couldn't complain with the sharpness of this film. As I've said already, you'd have no problem blowing this film up. It's really, really nice. Archie enjoying some dinner, slightly misfocused there on his eye, but completely nailed focus on the buckle. I believe that one was shot wide open, so once again, it gives a really nice character rendition. That one absolutely nailed his focus on his eye. So yeah, absolutely no complaints here. Once again, I believe this was shot wide open. And as you can see, the combo of the 35mm Summicron and this film gives a really nice, not a busy background, but a really smooth transition into the background. Archie having some more food and some more food. Back to the top of the dam. As I say, this is where it was overcast. Lovely, lovely sharp. You can actually see individual parts of the water there. That's how sharp it is. And as I say, this was only a medium-sized scan. So on to one really, really high contrast scene, which the film has handled beautifully, as you can see here. In that little foresty area where we were, on the way up to the dam actually. And as you can see, beaming midday sun, and it was absolutely lovely. And the film did not blow out that much. Obviously, these are scans, and if you was to darkroom print this, you'd probably be able to recover a bit more. But you can see here the highlights on Faye's hair and how sharp she is, leading right the way down onto Archie's face in the shadow area here. All the details retained. Even if you go right down into the bottom here and have a look at the stones next to the pram, it's an absolutely gorgeously sharp film and can also handle itself in high contrast situations, as you can see here. And I just really like this one. I might actually get this one printed. A couple more here that I want to show you, and then I'm going to move on to some other sample images. So this particular one, same day. The idea I was going for here was this tunnel was obviously really dark, and I wanted to see how good the transition between the mid-tones to the shadows to the highlights are. Because obviously I've heard lots of good things about Fuji Acros I, thanks to Ted Vieira, but never actually shot it myself. So with this being Fuji Acros II, I thought, let's give this a try about these really smooth transitions that this film's famous for. And as you can see down the side here, there's been no edits to this at all, and it's absolutely nailed it when you get your metering right, because I took this image twice, slightly underexposed this, and it's not how I imagined it at all. As you can see, the whole water's just a bit more murky and not as smooth, but this particular one, moved my angle a bit, opened my aperture up a bit more, nailed exactly what I was going for. What kind of film photographer would I be if I didn't take a picture of the corner of a car? Bang. I do actually remember this one because it was just parked in the car park of the entrance of this little walk, and I thought, ooh, it's a Porsche, I like Porsches, and also it'd be a nice test to see how sharp this film really is because I'll step my lens down. I think it was around 1/500 at f8, so basically the prime point of this lens. And with this film combo, as you can see, super sharp, especially on the headlight of the car there, going up onto the windscreen and the whole interior there. Absolutely stunning detail. And I think this combination of Leica M6 Summicron and Fuji Acros II is an absolute winner. Moving on to my car here. Same again, what kind of film photographer would it be if I didn't take car pictures? And this was more or less at the end of the roll, and I was just looking for something to actually finish the roll off on. And I thought, this car's got some nice sleek lines. As you can see, it's obviously a Ford Focus, but it's a sport model, so it's a bit more fun. There's a lot of detail here still. Nice transitions between obviously the front of the car and the grille, and the diffuser on the bottom here. All the details still retained. And I believe this was shot around 2.8, so the headlight's nice and sharp, and as we get back to the wing mirror here and down the path, it's completely blown out and looks absolutely stunning. As you can see here, the only things that have actually blown out are the highlights up above the fence and on the actual headlight there. I also tried out this film with flash because Archie was looking super cute, having a sink bath, because what child has not had a sink bath? If you never had a sink bath, you had no childhood. I'm sorry, but it's true. Faye, do you agree?
It's a bit rude.
Faye agrees. So yeah, we were giving Archie a sink bath, and obviously quite low light. So I thought, you know what, we'll try it with flash. The flash that I used on this is a Olympus T something or other. It doesn't really matter anyway. It's just a small pop on the top of the M6 flash. I'll put some B-roll up anyway. So yeah, this film actually handles with flash too really well. I'm really pleased with how this come out. Super sharp, as I've constantly said. I sound a bit like a broken record. And once again, so opposite to shooting this film in natural daylight, shooting it with the flash, it's actually the shadows that have blown out mostly here, like on the side of the counter here, and on this bottle making machine. That's where the shadows have actually blown out rather than the highlights. Once again, you can see absolutely no edits, well, very slight edits down the side here. But pin sharp, don't have to do any recovery to it. The only thing I regret about this image, it's kind of funny looking at it, but it's one of them things I'm kicking myself for doing, is this behind his head is where we store our eggs. It's a metal chicken, and it looks like the chicken's grown out of his head. Second image, same again with flash of Archie in the sink. I basically just moved down, changed composition, so the chicken wasn't sticking out of his head, and I think he was reaching out for a flannel on the side here. But yeah, this film handles really well with flash too. So if you guys have been enjoying this video so far, don't forget to leave me a like and a comment down below. Let me know which of these images was your favourite. But now we're going to move on to a handful of these images that were completely underexposed and just did not have enough light. First one here, well, two of them are Archie playing in this cardboard box. I remember shooting this was around 1/30th, wide open at f2, obviously ISO 100. It was middle of the day and there was light coming through the windows, as you can see behind them. And I thought, I might be able to get away with this because my meter was saying it was, but obviously Archie was just too much in the shadow. It could be recovered, and with them shadows being extremely muddy, it's going to be quite difficult to recover this one and this one too. So if you are gonna shoot this film, make sure you give it extra light, not take light away. If you take too much light away, you're gonna be in for a bad time. These next two images here, also underexposed. Kinda really annoyed with myself at the fact that I didn't use a flash because obviously it's Archie and that's my mother. My mum looking very cute with Archie and Archie looking a bit like, what you doing? But no, once again, quite muddy and underexposed shadows, and there's nothing actually blown out at all in these. There's not a lot to them in it. Even if we try and recover a bit, it's just bringing up shadow detail more than anything. And although that's kind of what we want, it's not giving us the results that we're after. See, if you do try and recover it, you're not going to get much besides Archie looking like a demon child. I don't know, if it's a look you're going for, the high contrast look, maybe underexpose the film, but it's definitely not a look I'll be going for. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that little look at the first roll of Fuji Acros II that I've shot. I would like to shoot more of this film. However, there is one major downside to this film, and that's that it's £12.50 a roll. And if you don't develop at home, obviously you've got to think about the price of developing as well. £12.50 a roll stings a lot, Fuji. You could do better than that, especially the fact that the film's made in the UK, and we more or less all know that it's Ilford making it. So anyway guys, let me know down in the comments, as I said before, which of these images was your favourite, because film photography, probably the Porsche. Don't forget to leave a like. It's been Garth here from Murphy's Film, and I hope you enjoyed this little look at Fuji Acros II. Peace out.